Hey, 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 everyone. Hope everyone is enjoying your day so far, so far. I am your girl, Coach Courtney J, and I am having lunch with Coach Courtney J. This is a segment that I have decided to um, introduce to you guys in this last quarter, in this fourth quarter, which is technically my first quarter for the beginning of the year. I start in fourth quarter game running, right? And so today we're talking about identity and finances. How do those two play a part? And I have my very special guest, Miss Meechie Jefferis. So, what I'm going to do, because we're also going live with our podcast as well, I want Miss Meechie Jefferis to go ahead and open us up by introducing herself and telling us a little bit about what she do before we get into our segment.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Queen Courtney J, for having me here on your show. I love it. In this day and age, we all need as much financial knowledge as possible. And it's not just enough to get the knowledge, but we also need to apply it. I mean, that's a whole nother lesson, right? Just getting the knowledge and applying it. That's something else that's extremely critical. But a little bit about me. My government name is Demetrica Jeffries. I go by Meechie Jeffries, a name I've had all my life. I am a retired Air Force veteran, did 26 years and 6 days of creditable, faithful service to our country on the books. And
Thank
towards the last 14 months of my time in the Air Force, I was diagnosed and went through and battled and overcame breast cancer. So, obviously, this is the month for celebrating amongst domestic violence, those who are also survivors and also survivors of cancer or whatever part of their journey they're on. I celebrate them and I salute them today. I'm also happily married, been married almost 28 years and still moving. I am an author, chronicled my cancer journey in my book called No More Bad Days. And now, obviously, I'm here before you today as a licensed financial services professional, all about teaching people how money works and how they can make their money go to work for them instead of always continuously working hard for it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I want to say we salute you, Queen,
Thank you.
for all the things that you have overcome and the service that you have provided to our country. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
So let's jump right into this segment. So me and Michi, we started this conversation almost 2 weeks ago when I
Mhm.
first came to you with the idea,
Yes.
and I mean, we was deep in it, guys. We was really deep in conversation. We was like, hold up, wait, we gotta put a pause in this because we really need to we really
Address
need to
this.
say this
Yeah.
on air with everyone, right? So when we're talking about identity and understanding who you are and then how money plays a part of it, a lot of people like to say money don't have anything to do with my lifestyle, but in actuality you need money to create and establish the lifestyle that you desire, right? And I have to get to that understand because I know way back a couple of years ago I used to say, well, I don't want a lot of money, I just want to be comfortable. And we got into habit of saying that because that's all our parents or our grandparents used to say. Like, oh, it don't take a lot of money to get to where you need to be, just be comfortable. Yeah, we know that, but when you start to desire certain things in life, you know that it takes money and it takes having the right mindset about money in order to do that, to have the life that you want. And so our segment is, talking about living beyond the status quo. Like, how did your growing up and your background actually affect your identity as it is today when it comes to money? Let me just tell you a little bit about my background. I used to watch my grandparents, and I told Michi this. I used to watch my grandmother put $20 aside, put it in the shoebox here, save it there, and it was always saved in the house. You know, and then we grew up with the saying, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Save some for a rainy day. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. All of those things shape how I grew up to view money and how I operated with my finances, right? And so, when I start to look at the different things, I was like, Grandma had good intentions, Mama had good intentions, but it's not working for me. It's really not working.
Mhm.
Like, I need to find another way to make my money work for me, instead of just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna stash it in this." And I laugh so much because I have one of those grits cans, and I was telling Meechie, I was like, I didn't know why I was saving it. But then when I thought about it, I was like, oh, because my grandma used to always tell me, keep these cans because you can save your change in these cans.
Mhm.
You can put your, money, your rainy day money, your savings, your emergency fund in these cans, and you'll never lose it. And right now, today, like, even with change, and I'm going to show you guys this. This is me being very open with you.
Mhm.
Mason jars. A
Yep.
lot of people save change and things in their mason jars all around their house, right? And so we just want to let you know that a lot of the things that we saw growing up, a lot of things that we heard growing up, it shapes your identity.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
plays a part in how you manage and steward the finances in your life. Do you agree, Michi?
Absolutely. You
All
know,
right, I want you to chime in.
yes. So I absolutely agree. And after you and I talked, because I remember I shared a story with you
Mm-hmm.
about my mom. And, I was all of 14 years old and I had a summer job. And it was the very first job I'd ever had. So it was my very first paycheck that I had received. And at that time, it was the summer of 85. And a lot of things were going on. My mother was going through her own battle with breast cancer, which she ended up losing later on that year. And as a result of that, going through it at that time, she wasn't able to go to work. My father was the sole breadwinner. I was one of four children, the youngest of four children. I was still in school. The brother before me, he was still in college. We still had bills to pay, keep the utilities going, to pay the mortgage, all of that, all of those things. So even at that young age, I knew at that stake at that time that, things could be a lot better. And even though my father is bringing in the money, it's not enough. It's not enough. Even though my brothers, with what they were doing, they helped, but it still wasn't enough. And I remember when I had my summer job, I was like, okay, well, everybody else is contributing. I want to contribute too. I'm the baby in the family, but you know what? Now I got a job. I got a little money coming in. I want to
Right.
contribute. Let me in on this. And my mother was, oh, I see it like yesterday. My mother was sitting at the kitchen table and I brought the check into her. And she looked at it and she looked at me and she said, baby, that's your money. Keep it, save it. And I thought, okay. But looking back on it, I'm like, well, I guess if she says save it, maybe that means I just need to put it in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
The underlying current here is that that's all she knew. She knew the word save it, but she didn't even know how to save it. You know what I mean? So I grew up in a cycle where everybody's saying save your money. So you automatically think just put your money into a bank and let it sit there. And, go in and make a withdrawal when you need to pay the bills, when you need to take a trip, whatever. But it's a lot more to money than that. So fast forward, from my teenage years, now I'm an adult. Now I'm in the Air Force and I carry on this same concept of money from what my mom told me. That's your money, save it. Okay. I guess I'm just going to keep it in the bank and just let it, keep adding more money to it. But I did not understand the taxation categories. I did not understand things like the rule of 72. I did not understand the wealth formula. I did not understand the dime method. I did not understand things about life insurance and why life insurance is so important. So all of these things are extremely critical to our financial foundation, but it all can change. It can all change with a little bit of knowledge. And we have to realize that, what my mom told me to do, like you said, Courtney, that ain't working now. It's not
Right.
working now. There has to be more. And there is. But once you come to an understanding that there is more, and then you find people who are able to educate you on that, then you're able to say, okay, well, that was the identity that I was raised up in, and I developed that identity from them. But this is a new game. This is a whole new spectrum here. I'm learning more so that I can do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what? And I totally agree with you. I had to, like, we shared, I have the same similarity. It was, I was working two jobs when I was in high school. I worked at a convenience store, and I worked at a restaurant. And, when it came to me watching my parents take care of me and my brother, it was like, okay, so I want to be, I'm the oldest child, so I want to be the one that's going to help keep things, afloat. But my mom and my dad will always tell me, and it was like, no, you're working, keep your money for yourself. So I just started spending my money. They didn't give
Oh,
me
yeah.
real foundational rules on saving it. It was my grandmother who told me, don't spend all your money, but her method of putting money to side was not idealistic for the life that I'm living now, right? It's a little bit more than just putting money to the
That's
side. You
right.
want to make sure, what I have learned um now is that you want to make sure that your money is actually working while it's sitting, and that you're not working for the money to just sit. You want to make sure that it's gaining something. You don't just want to put it away and then say, oh, I'll have it when I need it. But you want it to be growing. You want it to be actually growing. And I've learned that a part of my identity is to unlearn a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the stuff that I have learned. But that comes with the honest awareness and acknowledgement. Like, I don't really know how to do this money thing without attaining and doing the research, or connecting with those individuals who can actually walk me through the process. People don't believe it, but money is attached to your identity as well as your credit. It plays a major role.
It's
It
been.
plays a major role. And when you're talking about living a lifestyle that you desire, like, you really got to get into the right headspace. But if you don't know who you are, if you don't take the time to really discover who you are, will you really know how to attain, maintain, and even grow your money? I don't
Mm,
think you can.
mm.
I don't think, again, I have not met a person who mine was all the way not there, actually maintain, attain, and grow their money, because then they're thinking on impulse.
And Sister Courtney, as you were just talking right now, so we going in, we going in right now, we going in. Um, Lack of knowledge on something, abuse is inevitable,
Right.
and a lot of us abuse our money. We grow up in a right now, feel good, I want it right now, self gratification society, and we want it now. So what does that mean? Okay, I don't have that kind of money on me. I'll swipe this credit card. I just met with a friend a couple of days ago, a very, very dear friend. And this particular person, was making a six-figure income, doing what he does. So he always had money, right? Always had money, was taking care of his family, doing right by his family. But you know what? The pandemic put a lot of that to a complete halt.
Right. For a lot of people.
Yes, ma'am. And I did not realize it until I was talking with him that he was directly impacted by the pandemic. He was one of those people that had one of those good paying jobs, was just spending money like water, just money here and there. Somebody may ask, for $200, he give him 500
Ooh,
or 1,000.
ooh.
Well, guess what? The pandemic shut that down. And for a couple of years, he never looked at his money. He never looked at his budget. And so when we went through a free financial review, he was actually looking, looking at what do you want to call it? He had to face the music. And it opened up his eyes because at the same time I was also able to educate him on basic things about money, finance 101 basics. And I told him, I said, you ever wonder why you keep making those minimum payment on your credit cards and it's not going away? Did you ever wonder why? So I'll tell you why. It's because those particular companies have mastered the rule of 72 on you, and they actually know how rates of interest work. And they make the rates of interest work for their benefit and not for yours. So they know that you're going to pay the minimum payments. They already know that. You think you got a bargain by making a minimum payment? No, you just stay in debt longer. And the longer you stay in debt, the more interest you're paying those companies.
Mm-hmm.
So he learned that, and it was a complete eye opener for him. But you know what? All we know is we got the card in hand. Let's get it. Let's spend. Let's turn up. Or
Easy swipe.
easy swipe. But you know what? There's a price to pay for that swipe.
Right.
The companies are making money off of you. You're only one of a millions and millions of people, but they're making money off of your ignorance. Let me say that.
Right. And
Yeah.
if you don't take the time to educate yourself or really tap into your core on, like, why do I have impulse spending habits, for a person who just find themselves spending, I know from experience that when you go through traumatic life situations and experiences, you feel down. And mostly people who feel down, what's the impulse thing that they do?
A lot of
Spend
people
money.
like to eat and spend money.
Spend money. And so they go out to eat, they buy that comfort food, they buy that
Mhm.
new outfit, they just do an impulse purchase, basically, no matter whether it's food or clothing,
Yep.
right? But they
Yep.
don't think about it. Now you have to get to the root and the core of, like, why or how did or when did this first started happening, and trace that root all the way back.
Yeah.
Now that's where a person like myself will come to you and say, okay, let's take a pause. I understand that you just, you did this, but let's backtrack. Let's get back to a place in our mind. Let's try to retrace our thoughts. Let's sit down and think about it. Like, when did you first started or saw yourself experiencing this? And that's called the woman in the mirror. For me, that's what I coined.
Mhm.
That is the woman in the mirror. You want to take a time to sit down and check yourself in the mirror, like look at yourself and say, okay, I have this issue. Now I need to go back to where it first started, and acknowledge that. Go through that process. Don't be afraid of it,
Right.
because if you're afraid of it, then you'll never face it, and you'll never fix it, and you'll never move forward.
That's right.
The whole game here is to get you from one place to the next, but in a good place of identifying, because like me and Meechie was talking about before we came on air, once you commit to the journey and the process, it never ends, guys. It never ends. This is a lifetime commitment until your eyes is closed. This is a journey that you say, okay, I'm in it. I'm going to keep going and I'm going to move forward in it. Not saying that your situation is not going to happen, but something similar can happen, and it can trigger you and you can go back to that same habit. But once you learn a lesson, you learn how to avoid that lesson, right? So when it comes to your identity, I know that if something can happen and it can trigger me to be an impulsive buyer, right?
Mhm.
I have to learn the lesson in that and know that I cannot continue down that path. Set up guidelines and boundaries, realistic mindset boundaries, to know that when I start to feel this way, I need to implement this strategy. Because if I implement this, then this would keep this from happening. And that way I can continue forward on my journey in a positive manner. But if I don't take the time to discover why it happened, how it happened, what triggered it, then I'm going to forever keep going through that hamster wheel and
Mhm.
repeating the same cycle, losing money, understanding that, well, I'm going to just keep doing it. It's not going to bother me. I'll worry about that later. And see, that's how I hate to, I don't want to necessarily bring up any celebrities, because I'm not bashing them for their lifestyle,
Mhm.
but you got to think about it. The most recent thing that we have right now, and we got about 10 more minutes, and then we'll be, cutting it short for our lunch break, because I know you guys got to get back to work. But just real briefly, the most recent incident that we have right now is Al Johnson.
Mhm.
He lived a lifestyle.
Mhm.
he probably never really thought about saving or investing in insurance or
Mm-hmm.
putting aside and making it grow so that when something drastic or tragic happens, that you're financially stable.
Yep.
His identity was weird, and I've seen the comments. I didn't comment or anything, but I just watched the comments, and people say all those movies and all that stuff that he did based off looking at his lifestyle, living beyond the status quo, but he wasn't positioned.
This is awesome. Because celebrities are just like you and I. They're everyday
Mm-hmm.
people. They just happen to have a bigger limelight than we do, right?
Lifestyle.
You know,
The lifestyle that they desired. They
that's right.
created a
That's right.
lifestyle
That's
that they
right. That's
desired.
right. But look at Shaquille. Okay, let's look at Shaquille.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, that's long money. That's what I call long money. So our beloved brother AJ, rest in peace,
Mm-hmm.
and Shaquille. What's the difference between the two, right? They're both celebrities. Well, I know
Mm-hmm.
Shaquille said he was denounced as a
Shaquille said he's
celebrity.
not a celebrity.
I ain't doing that no more. I don't like that. I don't like how them people be rolling. I don't like how they treat me.
He's not a celebrity.
I'm just a regular person, And
Right.
kudos to Shaquille. He continues to inspire me and he continues to make me smile. This man has set his whole entire generation up with wealth.
Right.
He decided and he had people in his corner. I'm sure his beloved mother, even his father before his stepfather before he passed away, the only man that really raised him, and like-minded people, maybe the right agent who really wasn't all about that dollar, but was about educating Shaquille about money and how he can go to the next thing while he's still playing basketball, the next thing when he retires from basketball. So you can't turn on your TV without seeing him in a commercial for the General, Icy Hot. I mean,
It doesn't matter.
John's, the Carnival. So he is actually doing things to continue to build up his wealth for his family, for the legacies after him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have people like AJ. You have people like Prince. You got people like Aretha Franklin. These are people that they are legends in their own right. But they got a mess of an estate problem that their family now has to deal with, that their family has to struggle through. And that's not fair. So, but here's a deeper question, my sister. What's going on with the people that's supposed to be watching their money? That says a lot about them.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are the ones that they are trusting. Now, it's not just for the agent to be the sole person that's watching their money, but they do that. Why? Because they don't want to deal with money. Because, girl, look, I didn't want to deal with money. I just knew that I was retired from the Air Force and I was going to collect these checks. My husband was going to collect his checks. A lot of people say that, right? I'm good. Mm-hmm. Until you say, okay, well, have you been investing in, or do you know anything about putting your money in tax advantage benefits or cash value accumulation factors? Wait a minute. What do you mean about tax advantage? So yeah, I mean, great. This is a very deep topic because AJ was only emulating what he saw, or he was going up from the root of what he never had.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't trained, he wasn't educated on how to be a good steward of what he had.
Mm-hmm. And putting in and investing, sowing, tithing, all that plays a major role when it comes to your identity. It builds your character. Like when I had the magic question, like the question was, is your identity really attached to your finances? And it is, because you cannot live the life that you want to live without it. Point blank, period. And even after you live, how is your money still going to make money? Because you have legacies and you have generations that come after you. Like your bloodline does not stop with just you, unless it was just you, your grandma, your mama, and that's it. And
And
then the
then you
whole
can build a legacy, right?
then it's nothing. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything. You live the legacy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm talking about us people.
Mhm.
Those of you who are watching, I thank you for tuning in and joining us for this lunch segment. Trust me, we're going to be on for another 3 weeks. So you will get this experience. We will continue the conversation, but do know, and just to give you guys something to think about, when you're talking about falling into a new you, that's like breaking into new habits, breaking off old habits, setting new boundaries, eliminating different things that will keep you stagnant and in a continuous negative cycle.
Mhm.
And when it comes to finances, well, Meechie can talk to you about that, but I'm more about getting you to get your identity back.
That's right.
Not the one that you had before your traumatic or your trauma or your situation, but really falling into that identity of really discovering yourself. Because that's what I had to do. Like, a little bit about me, you guys, you see me in the limelight now, but as Mitch, I told my story. I never wanted to be in the limelight. It was the new identity that I had to accept as of maybe a year ago, that look, this is who I am. I can no longer hide. I can no longer sit back and just play the backstage person. No, God has created me to be in the forefront.
Yeah.
He created me so that people can see my life. Now, is everything about my life peaches and cream? No. Everybody's life not peaches and cream.
Everybody has a
But
situation.
what do you see is what I give you, and it's the uproot of really digging into my identity and discovering who I am at the core, and realizing and acknowledging and admitting and becoming aware that my habits that I've attained from a long line, grandparents, parents, watching and seeing and just observing the environment around me,
Mhm.
it created in me a DNA that I didn't want a part of me. And so I had to do a internal surgery to say, you know what, that's not what I want. I
Mhm.
don't want this, because see, I have a legacy, 3 of them coming
Yes.
right after me. And I need for them to know that, look, this is not how we're going to do things. And this is how we're going to continue to move forward. And I plant, affirm, and really make sure that your core has to be all the way together. Your mind has to be all the way together. So I want to invite you all who are watching, who found this segment to be very interesting, is I am hosting my new fall program. It is a fall program that's going to help you cover 5 different pillars: mind, body, spirit, finances, and purpose, identity. You're going to learn how to fall back in love with who you are, the new you. And it is a program, it is offering one-on-one coaching sessions with myself. And I will have special guests like Miss Meechie to come in to help you with, if you have those issues where you're depressed and you're fighting and you're just in a bad place due to finances, then we can help you get
Mhm.
out of that. We can create budgets and get you on the right track. So that's no worry. But our main focus is to make sure that your mind, your body, your spirit, and your identity is all intact before you can really start to see the fruit, because your finances is your harvest. That sounds good. Your
Yeah.
finances is your harvest.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
invite you. I know I don't have the link up, but you will be able to see the link. Or if you just have questions for me about the program or how we can work together, I do offer discovery calls. So after this live, be sure to see the link, click the link, and therefore connect with me. Meechie, I think you wanted to offer something too.
Yes, so I actually have free financial reviews, and we also have the Finance 101 book. Courtney has hers as well. This is 88 pages of basic financial information, and everything that's in that book, we are actually able to help educate people further on and actually help them apply that to their lives. And I also want to throw something back at you, Coach Courtney. about your program as a coach. I've seen you speak. Obviously, you're an awesome speaker. When you talk about this thing about identity, cancer gave me a new identity. And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll put that in a repressed state of mind and pretend like it never happened, but it can be the best thing that is happening. When I got the great report, which is in my book, obviously, I'm sorry, this is the other thing that I got too. So this is my journey that I chronicled about my journey through breast cancer. It's a little pictorial, and it goes through the phase of my life before cancer, when I was going through, and on the other side of that. But in the midst of the process, I was given a new identity. And my identity was one that I was willing to form and shape so that, okay, this is me. There's nothing to hide. I have nothing to fear. This happened to me. I did not ask for it, but this is a story for somebody else to help them get over that hump, to help them go through and get to the other side. So your identity is what's going to allow you, when you embrace it, when you talk with Coach Courtney and you embrace your identity, it's going to allow you to help other people break through to theirs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And can you tell them where they can get your book?
Yes, absolutely. You can actually inbox me on Facebook. You can also get my book through Amazon.com as well. I also personally have some on hand, so I love to autograph all of my books and actually send them to those who actually take the time to reach out. So I have some on hand, and I'm willing to actually send them with my autograph. The cost is $20 as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Meechie, I know we got to get these beautiful people back to their works and their jobs. Those who are self-employed, kudos to you. We're out here doing this thing with you. So you're may able to wiggle a little room with your lunch period. But those of you who did join and tuned in, those of you who will watch this on the replay, we want to say we appreciate you and we thank you for taking the time out. If you want to go back and listen to this episode, you can choose to look at it on our Facebook pages. They're both tagged myself and Meechie, as well as you can listen to the segment on Anchor at the Rich Talks Tips and Strategies with Coach Courtney J podcast. I will make sure that you have the links. This will air on tomorrow, so you guys have gotten the chance to sit in on a live segment. I am moving in the right directions. Be sure to click those links. And guys, we do thank you. So we will talk with you later. Bye.